Tonight on Cys Eyes on the Skies.
We've had a little bit of a cool down here recently in Iowa, but it's about to start warming back up again with a little bit of rain mixed in there. More on that in just a bit.
Plus, Trey has your national forecast. All that and much more as this Tuesday, March 16th edition of Cys Eyes on the Skies starts right now.
Live from Studio 171 in Ames, Iowa, the Iowa State Meteorology Department team of meteorologists brings you the latest weather from around the country and out your front door. Iowa State's longest running television program and the only live weather broadcast on campus starts right now. This is Cys Eyes on the Skies.
Now it's time for today's weather story. On this date in 1942, 1/4 of Lakin, Illinois was destroyed by an F5 tornado, which was estimated. Many of the 60 damaged homes were completely swept away, and debris was found 25 miles distant. The tornado killed 8 people along its 30-mile-long path in northwest and north of Peoria. And now, we have Trey with our national forecast.
Welcome back to Cys Eyes on the Skies. Let's take a look now at your national forecast because we have a lot to get to this evening. We're going to begin with a look at the watches and warnings across the nation here this evening. And you can see most of those are centered across the South Plains and into the southeast U.S. this evening. We've got blizzard warnings across portions of New Mexico, Colorado, and Texas, wind advisories and fire weather warnings for areas down into southern New Mexico, back into southwest Texas, and then on the warm and wet side of this upcoming storm system, flash flood watches in place for portions of the deep south into Mississippi and Alabama. Let's take a look at the weather headlines here this evening because there is definitely a lot to talk about. We have a severe weather outbreak that is on the table, especially as we begin tonight and into the day tomorrow and Thursday. This will mainly encompass areas like the southeast U.S. into the southern plains, and then this will again carry on beginning tonight, lasting through Thursday. Let's take a look at the water vapor imagery here because we want to get a good look at where the system is right now. You can see clearly a bowling ball of an upper level low moving through the desert southwest this evening. You can see the center of that system is currently in western New Mexico, and then as that system moves off to the east overnight tonight and then into the day tomorrow and Thursday, it will begin to interact with plenty of rich moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. There will be strong winds aloft, so we'll have strong vertical shear with that, plenty of instability, and so all these ingredients coming together here to set us up for a multi-day severe weather event beginning tonight, and then that will carry on into Wednesday, likely being the most significant day. Here's a look at the severe weather outlook. This is for tonight, and you can see this includes much of central Texas all the way north into Oklahoma and Kansas, where we have a slight to enhanced risk of severe storms, mainly for the threat of wind and hail tonight. I don't think our tornado threat is going to be too significant tonight. But watch what happens here as we get into the day tomorrow. This is where I become a little bit more concerned that we could see a significant tornado outbreak for portions of the lower Mississippi Valley, mid-south, and into the southeast U.S. That red shading that you see, that is a moderate risk, the next up to the highest level here on the SPC's risk category. So a very significant threat tomorrow for places like Memphis, Jackson, and Birmingham, Alabama. And then as we get into the day on Thursday, that threat shifts to the east, mainly looking at places along the I-95 corridor, looking at Georgia and portions of the Carolinas as we get into Thursday, and then that system will finally exit as we get into the end of this week. Here's a look at the severe weather threats. Wednesday, particularly here looking at the mid-south and southeast, as this is when the most dangerous day of severe weather would most likely occur. You can see our wind threat definitely looks very high there, along with flooding, hail, and tornadoes also look to be a concern tomorrow. And I'm going to show you why the tornado threat is especially concerning here in just a moment. Here's a look at the future cast here. Watch what happens as we get into tonight. That area of low pressure, as it moves out of New Mexico into Texas, it will draw up plenty of low-level moisture, and we'll see a line of thunderstorms break out along a Pacific cold front stretching from portions of Oklahoma down into north central Texas. Again, with most of these storms tonight, it looks like they will be rooted above a stable layer, so that essentially means that our tornado threat is going to be fairly low. But if we do happen to see a storm become much stronger and take in some more energy, we could see that tornado threat develop tomorrow morning across southeast Oklahoma and northeast Texas. Now, this is when things get really concerning here. As we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow, we're going to see the southeast U.S. really come under fire here with plenty of low-level moisture. We start to see the skies clear out, but that's not what you want to see on a severe weather day, because that allows for a lot more low-level energy to build. And then notice tomorrow evening here for portions of East Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, numerous discrete supercell thunderstorms develop. And with these storms developing in such a favorable environment, we could see a significant tornado threat. That tornado threat will continue tomorrow night and into Thursday morning as we have a rich supply of low-level moisture and instability to deal with here. And then you can see as we get into Thursday, that threat finally shifts off the East Coast and into the Carolinas. So here's a look at the significant tornado parameter as we get into the day tomorrow. Notice here how that index maxes out here across portions of the lower Mississippi Valley and Mid-South. This is the area that we're really going to be focusing in on for that threat of significant tornadoes, some of which will be long track and violent. Your forecast highs for tomorrow: warm across the southeast, but much cooler across the Intermountain West and the Midwest states. Here's a look at the week ahead here for you in Amarillo, Texas. You can see you will be on the cold side of that system with falling temperatures with rain and snow tomorrow, but we quickly warm up as we get into the latter part of this week and this weekend.
Now it's time for tonight's trivia question. What is the second highest severity of prediction in the SPC convective outlook? Is it A, slight risk, B, moderate risk, C, high risk, or D, enhanced risk? We'll have your answer coming up, but first, let's look at your Iowa forecast with Trevor.
Welcome back to Cys Eyes on the Skies. Let's jump right into it with a look at our current conditions here in Ames. It is currently about 39 degrees with a real feel of about 33 here in Ames, with winds of about 9 miles per hour out of the northeast. It's also pretty cloudy out there right now, and we can expect to continue as we move through the week until about Friday. Let's look at our forecast for tomorrow here in Ames. You can expect a high of about 45 degrees with cloud coverage for most of the day, on and off. It won't be cloudy the entire day. There will be some light winds accommodated with this, so it definitely will be a little chilly out there tomorrow, but nothing too bad as we begin to warm up shortly as we move into the week. Before we get into that, let's look at our temperatures across the state here tonight. We see this same trend as we cover the entire state. It's about mid to low 30s all over, so it's definitely pretty chilly here right now, but again, as I mentioned, it will warm up as we move later into the week. Let's look at our headlines for the week so you can get a basis of what to understand as we cover the next 7 days. We will, for the most part, have covered skies until Friday, and again as we move into Monday of next week. Some slight rain possibly tomorrow and Thursday, as well as Monday and Tuesday of next week. And last but not least, you can expect the temperatures to warm up as we move throughout the week, as I've mentioned. Speaking of throughout the week, let's have a look at that right now. Again, cloudy with some slight chance of rain over the next couple of days, but as promised, that will clear up and we should get a very nice weekend. Yet another weekend here in March where we will reach the 60s in temperature, which is very abnormal for this part of year. And then we get chances for rain on Monday and Tuesday of next week, and it won't cool down that much. It will start to cool down a little bit, but we'll still be in the high 50s as we get into that rain on Monday and Tuesday. If we have a look at our future cast here, we can see some of the weather scraping the south side of the state, and we will most likely get some of that light rain tomorrow and Thursday, as I have mentioned. And lastly, we're going to look at our winds, see what we can expect over the next couple of days. Some pretty light winds right now, nothing too bad, but as we move into tomorrow and Thursday, when that storm starts to come towards us and it reaches the southern part of the state, we'll see those winds start to pick up pretty significantly. We get into the almost 20s, and to some parts we do get some 20s in there. As a storm comes through, we'll get some of that rain, and the wind will definitely pick up. As you push into the weekend, it will die down. It will go back to normal, and we can expect a nice very calm and warm weekend here in not just Ames, but across Iowa.
Thanks, Trevor. Now let's take one final look at tonight's trivia question. What is the second highest severity of prediction in the SPC convective outlook? A, slight risk, B, moderate risk, C, high risk, or D, enhanced risk? The correct answer is B, moderate risk. The high risk is currently the highest you can get right now. And that's all for tonight's edition of Cys Eyes on the Skies. Please be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And you can find every show on YouTube under our Cys Eyes channel. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next week.